From ABC-7 New York, this is Eyewitness News Extra Time.
And good evening, everyone. I'm Bill Ritter. Thanks for joining us once again. We begin with the latest on the investigation into Mayor Eric Adams' 2021 mayoral campaign. A week after the FBI seized the mayor's cell phones and his iPad, we learned that investigators are looking into now how and if Mr. Adams might have helped the Turkish government get fire department clearance to open the Turkish consulate right near the UN before Adams became mayor. It's complicated, yes, but we're going to get it all down to something normal. The investigation became public after the FBI raid on the mayor's chief fundraiser 10 days ago. So for the record, so far, no wrongdoing has been alleged. Eyewitness News reporter NJ Burkett begins our coverage tonight.
It's the image Mayor Adams is determined to project, that he's focused and in control.
We're talking about helicopters.
Deflecting questions about the investigation while praising the potential of electric helicopters.
You have to be focused, no distractions, and grind. And that's what this administration is about, straight ahead.
And that's what Eric Adams tried to do today, even as the questions persist. It was 11 days ago that FBI agents raided the home of the mayor's chief fundraiser, Brianna Suggs, amid a federal investigation into whether Adams' 2021 campaign received illegal contributions from citizens and government officials in Turkey. Sources confirmed that authorities are now investigating whether Adams, then the Brooklyn borough president, played a role in fast-tracking a certificate of occupancy for the Turkish consulate, which opened that same year. Text messages indicate that Adams raised the issue with then Fire Commissioner Dan Krauth, but sources say Adams apparently made no specific request. The messages, recovered after the mayor was ordered to surrender his cell phones to FBI agents in a surprise encounter last week. Rich Frankel is a former FBI special agent in charge.
They believe he's got evidence of criminal activity on his phone. He may be a witness and it may not actually implicate him, but the fact that the FBI did it in that manner, surprising.
Former prosecutor David Schwartz.
There has to be an exact tie-in to the mayor and this money, and there's no evidence of that whatsoever.
That we know of so far.
Councilmember Gail Brewer says it's not uncommon to intervene with the FDNY to get inspections done.
I help people with the fire department all the time because the fire department has very few inspectors. And so I'm always calling the fire department to please hurry up and get the inspection done on the restaurant so we can open.
Ms. Brewer told me that the case has not become a distraction for city government, at least not so far. As for the mayor, he has promised to answer reporters' questions here tomorrow. At City Hall, NJ Burkett, Channel 7, Eyewitness News.
Thank NJ Burkett for getting us that report. Lots to wrap our minds around and unplug in this thing. We're going to bring in our investigative reporter, Dan Krauth, to help us understand this a bit more. And Dan, thank you for joining us. Some of this, you've parboiled down to three major elements to what this investigation is about.
Right, it's very complicated, but you have to know each of the three parts to understand it as a whole, right?
Okay. Yeah.
So if you look at this first, the FBI is looking into whether any foreign money was illegally funneled into his 2021 campaign. Illegal money,
right,
in exchange for some type of favors.
Okay.
So that's the main investigation that we're looking at. That's why the home of Brianna Suggs was searched, because she was the chief fundraiser for the mayor. She'd have all the documents. We know that was going on, but now we know why they searched his cell phone in the first place. That's because we're getting closer now, and the scope of this investigation is growing larger. They're looking into possible involvement from the Turkish government and Turkish officials. Because if we set the scene here, we go back to 2021. The mayor was not mayor yet. He just won the primary. He was the Brooklyn borough president, and Turkish officials reached out to him because they were opening up this brand new state-of-the-art facility, the new consulate, that they needed open in time because they had a lot of pressure. The UN General Assembly was in town, the Turkish president was coming to cut the ribbon on this building, but all the alarms inside the building weren't working together at the same time. So they needed a temporary permit. So our sources say that, the Turkish officials texted the mayor texted the fire commissioner, and then all of a sudden they got the temporary permit.
But they didn't get the permit when it wasn't done. They got it done because it got done faster.
It got done faster, but as Gail said in NJ's piece, this happens all the time. This is why government officials are there in the first place. You would call your borough president if you're having an issue. You would call your local city council member if you're having an issue.
That's a fait accompli.
Right, and that's why the
mayor
mayor
would do it for you if you asked them.
Right, and Gail, like Gail said, she does it for people all the time. Who else would you reach out to if you had a problem?
So the third element of this.
The third element of this is now we know what text messages they were looking for in his cell phone. And the rarity for this to happen, the FBI gets search warrants all the time for investigations. investigations, but not when it comes to government officials and not for the mayor of the largest city in America. So if you can picture this, an FBI agent had to go to a federal judge and show probable cause and tell this judge a story with compelling evidence to have that judge sign off on the search warrant to ask for the mayor's phone, not just one phone, both of his phones and his iPad.
So let me ask you a couple questions as we dig deep into this. And let's just say this right from the top. There's been no federal charges filed against the mayor or allegations of it.
Absolutely. And as the mayor says, he has been alleged no wrongdoing, and he inserts that he says the same thing for every member of his administration. Right.
And Gail Brewer did say that this kind of stuff happens all the time. The question is, was there money given to him in exchange for getting a faster...
Was there any favors
Yes.
tied to those campaign investigation that's going on with the home of Brianna Suggs? Right. So is this all tied together? That's what they're trying to find out.
If he got them the approval for the fire department permit to get this thing under wraps and go and get this open before the UN General Assembly, and they gave him money as a donation, that is not prima facie against the law.
Correct.
Right. But did he get it if he asked for it? And did he know about it? Did they make some sort of deal?
And this is all what we know about so far that everyone's talking about. There's a lot of stuff that we don't know about. And I truly believe that if the mayor wouldn't have canceled his trip to D.C. and come home when he did, we probably wouldn't know the information that we know today because of the leaks. And the mayor seems to be equally as concerned about the investigation as he is about the leaks, with his office releasing a statement about that.
Last Wednesday, this is Monday night, last Wednesday, Sade and I on this desk, Eyewitness News at 5:30, talked to the mayor. And we asked him, have you been talked to by the federal government, by the federal agents, the same ones that in fact raided your workers, your money woman, your money
campaign, chief campaign
That's
fundraiser.
the words I'm looking for. Yes, and he said no.
He said no.
If we had said instead, hey, have you been contacted by them?
Any contact by
Any
the FBI.
contact. They did, in fact, a week ago tonight, 2 days before we talked to him, took his 2 cell phones and an iPad.
Yeah, little do we know, he probably just received those devices back just before your interview or around that time, because they were taken on Monday evening and given back about 2 days later, which was just before around the time that he did the interview here. And he did another interview with another outlet on Friday. None of this came out until Friday evening.
So, did he hide something from us? Was he not being totally honest about it? I don't know.
Well, he has a team of people that sit back and they're probably debating, do we give this information to the public? Do we wait to see if they find this out? But, you know, they released a statement yesterday saying, it's interesting how it's worded, we hope that investigators will continue to cooperate with us and reprimand any federal officer who had improperly leaked details about this investigation.
Right, well, so they don't, one thing he's really nervous about and doesn't like, and no one would like that, is someone's leaking this information.
Correct.
Right? Someone leaked the information that they raided him and took his phones.
Well, you worry where there's smoke, there's fire. If people are beginning to find out, why did they take his cell phone? That was the main question I got all weekend. Why did they take the mayor's cell phones?
And what did you say?
I said it's part of an ongoing federal investigation.
And that's all you knew?
Right.
Let me ask you something else. This is really interesting, I think, because there's so many things out there and we don't know. And is it fair to him? Or is this just the way the cookie crumbles in this thing?
You know, it seems, though, that almost all mayoral candidates have something like this that happens. You know, de Blasio had an investigation. Numerous mayors have had investigations. But we haven't had a mayor before go to D.C. and cancel a trip and run back. We haven't had a mayor before say, I've been to Turkey more than any other mayor has been.
6 times in 9 years.
6 times in 9 years. So we know he has a close relationship, and we're learning more of these details, and a lot of people are just beginning to ask more questions.
You helped us decipher some of this. I really appreciate it, and I think our viewers do too, Dan.
Thank you for having me, Bill.
Fingers
I
crossed
appreciate
on all this, that's for sure.
Stay tuned.
Really interesting. All right, thank you.